everyone, don't mind me, I'm just fanning myself off from all of the excitement from Microsoft Build this week and all of the amazing Power Platform announcements. So earlier in May, we had the Microsoft Business Application Summit, the biggest event in Microsoft for all things Dynamics and Power Platform. And of course, going on this week is Build, Microsoft's developer conference. So between that and the Business Application Summit, we have a ton of Power Platform related announcements to go over. And of course, we have to start with Power Apps Ideas. I think this was the biggest Power Platform announcement at Build this week and probably the one for sure that got the most excitement. Power Apps Ideas is what they're calling their brand new AI-powered natural language formula generator. So as we're seeing here, we have a Canvas app open with a gallery. If we want to search that gallery and find all items where customers are in the US, we don't have to worry about typing in a complex Power Effects function. We just type it in the Ideas panel how we would normally ask for the information, like show me the customers in the US. This AI that's going on behind the scenes will take what we typed there in natural language or how we would normally speak and convert that behind the scenes to the Power Effects formulas that Power Apps needs to be able to actually make that filter happen in your gallery. I know this was a big mind-blown moment for everyone that watched this demo at Build, including myself. Let's talk a bit about how this actually works behind the scenes for those of you that want to geek out with me about this for a second. So what Microsoft did is they partnered with OpenAI. And OpenAI has something called GPT-3. You might have seen this if you watched the session and in some of the documentation. GPT stands for Generated Pre-trained Transformer. And this is an AI model that you can train to recognize natural language and have that produce code for you, which is exactly what Microsoft has did here for Power FX. So you can type in that natural language query like show tickets assigned to me. The OpenAPI GPT-3 technology can then recognize that and do all this AI magic behind the scenes to produce the necessary code to make that happen. Another big part of this is something they're calling program by example. So same kind of functionality here, but say in this case we have a string value that we want to manipulate. So what you're seeing here is an email address. And maybe you need to format that label to extract just the username from the email address. Now this Power Apps Ideas technology will allow you to type in something like someone_a, which is what shows before the @example.com text there in the email string. Then that will auto recognize that, oh, you're wanting to format this string and only get that first value before the ampersand sign. And it will produce the formula to make that happen. So I know the first question that I asked myself when I saw this is when can I get my hands on it? Great thing is we don't have to wait too long. Public preview is coming in June 2021. So here in a few weeks, we should be able to start using this in our environments. Now, important thing to note though, starting out, this is going to be initially optimized for working with galleries and data tables in your Power Apps Canvas apps. So it'll be optimized for doing functions like searching, sorting, sort by columns, filtering, and last in and first in. That's kind of why in all the demos that we saw, those were the main functions that we were using. And like anything when it comes to AI, the model has to be consistently tweaked and trained to handle complex situations. So as this gets used more and more and pushed out, the better that this will get. Another big announcement is starting June 2021, again, just in a few weeks, they're going to push out more functionality for Power FX across different Power Platform applications. So you might recall that at Embed, the Microsoft Business Application Summit, they announced Power FX, which I did a video on as well, and it's just giving a name to that Excel-like formula language that we already have right now and are using in Power Apps Canvas apps. Well, now in June, we're also going to be able to use that same formula language in our model-driven commands. Now in model-driven apps, if we wanted to create and modify commands, we had to use JavaScript. But now, thanks to this Power FX integration, this opens up so many more doors where we can easily add commands and manipulate them with our low-code Power FX formula language. Power FX is also coming to Dataverse calculator columns in June 2021 as well. So these are the first two major areas that they're focusing to extend out the Power FX programming language. Next up, they announced a new Power Apps developer plan. Now let's break down what exactly this is, because you might be wondering, hey, there's a Power Apps community plan already. How is this any different? Well, what they did here is they've taken your feedback about the Power Apps community plan and some of the things that you really wished would be added or tweaked, and they made those changes and they rebranded it to the Power Apps developer plan. So with the Power Apps developer plan, just like we could do in that community plan, that gives us the ability to try out and test all of the premium features for the Power Platform, like being able to use Dataverse and premium connectors like Azure SQL, building your own custom connectors, and all of the great premium functionality. What they've added to this plan to make it even better is addressing some key pain points. First pain point that you know if you've leveraged this Power Apps community plan in the past is capacity. Capacity was very limited, so they've upped that capacity a bit. So for Power Automate, we can have 750 flow runs a month per environment and up to 2 gigs in database size within our environments inside Dataverse. That is up from the 1 gigabyte, I believe that it was before. We can also share the applications that we build inside of the Power Apps developer plan now with our team members, and even publish those applications that we build to AppSource. So if you're an ISV or someone that's wanting to build a solution in the Power Platform and have that out in the marketplace, now we can build all of that within our developer plans and easily push that out to AppSource. But the biggest feature that was added here, and the one I'm most excited about, is the ability to have more than one environment. This was a huge sticking point with the old community plan, where it only gave you access to a single premium environment. Now we can have multiple so that we can truly test out those application lifecycle management scenarios where we would deploy an application solution between different environments. The kicker here, though, is this additional environment capability isn't in the plan quite yet, but it is coming. And important to note, if you already have a Power Apps community plan, the old version of this, you don't have to do anything. You'll just automatically get all of these new capabilities. But if you don't have one yet, now is the time to get one. So all you have to do is go to aka.ms/powerapps-dev plan. All right, moving right along to some more code-first developer announcements in regards to the Power Platform. Julie Strauss had a great session where she highlighted some of these new announcements at Build. First one is Power Platform command line interface support for packages and Canvas source files. This again will be available in June 2021, so it's looking like with all these announcements, June 2021 is going to be lit with tons of great new Power Platform functionality that we can start using. So what's going on here with this new CLI stuff? Well, you might have watched one of my previous videos about the Power Apps Canvas Apps source code tooling, which I'll put a link to in the video notes if you didn't catch that. But that tooling was released a few months ago, and that gave us the ability to unpack our Canvas app files so that we can manipulate them inside of VSCode and make mass changes, and also use that as a way to be able to store our source code like we would traditional code. Now that was a separate solution that they released. So what they did here is they're integrating that capability within the Power Apps CLI, reducing the amount of different tools that we have to use. And again, in their quest to reduce the amount of tools or areas that you have to go to accomplish stuff, they're also including in this the ability to package our applications. So there's going to be a new pack subcommand to help us do that. And along these same lines, they also announced a new Visual Studio Code extension for the Power Platform. And what I really love about this is going to be available across platform. Any other Mac users out there? So this will be available in Windows and your Mac OS devices. This again will hit preview in June 2021. Moving right along, let's talk about ALM some more. The PowerCat team has released another great addition to the Center of Excellence Toolkit, and this is a set of applications and processes to help you manage your application lifecycle. They're calling these the Application Lifecycle Management Accelerators. And one of the things that's included is 2 different Canvas applications to help you manage your solution, source code, and deployment process. So you see for this application here, geared toward the code-first developer, we can seamlessly push changes to Git, create pull requests, and delete solutions all within a Canvas application. And then there's a corresponding Canvas application geared toward the maker audience that will give them a way to handle their part of the DevOps process. You can download and start using this today in the COE Toolkit. Just go to github.com/Microsoft/COE-starter-kit. Shout out to Natalie at Microsoft here for her hard work on this next announcement. Microsoft released the ability to have independent publisher connectors. And this is pretty big because it's opening up a lot of doors. This means that we no longer have to own the API to create a custom connector to it and get it certified. You'll be able to start contributing to this repo sometime in the summer, most likely the July timeframe. To check it out, just go to github.com/Microsoft/Power Platform Connectors. I feel like we talked about the Power Apps side of things quite a bit, but there were a few other Power Platform related announcements. One big one is Process Advisor is now generally available for Power Automate. If you haven't checked out Process Advisor yet, now is a great time to do so since it's GA now. This is leveraging a technology called process mining. With process mining, we can actually evaluate a business process or a workflow that we go through and help take the guesswork out of automation. So if you're trying to figure out how to best automate an old process that you have, Process Advisor can help. Are you still with me? Because we still have a few great announcements to go through. So moving on to Dataverse for Teams, one of my favorite subjects, we have some new templates available to us. 3 new templates, in fact. First one up is Profile Plus. It gives us a great way to understand our org structure and even identify and search for job postings. So as you're seeing here, you can find someone's profile, see their goals, their interests, what they do, what projects they work on, who they report to, all of that you would expect from an org type browser solution. This template isn't available on the Power Apps application for Teams quite yet, but you can download it today by going to aka.ms/Teams Profile Plus. The next one is our Perspectives application. This application has a few similarities to that Employee Ideas template that I did review a few months ago, but the difference here is the use case. So this would be more about starting discussions and getting input on specific topics. So it's a great way to have some kind of application where you can tap into the collective knowledge of your team. And finally, we have the boards templates. This template really is all about organization. So we have a ton of different places in an organization that we go for different things. We might have a Teams channel for training content. We might also have a SharePoint site. We might go out to external resources like LinkedIn Learning. So many different places that we go to for different things. This boards template strives to give us a way to organize all of those different areas into different categories. So really when we think about it, it's a way of crowdsourcing information. So if we're trying to have one central place where we can go to get all of the resources to learn Power Apps, we could have a board in the boards template for Power Apps and have all of the resources and tools and places we can go to learn Power Apps, for example. But of course, so many other use cases for this as well. Speaking of Power Platform and Teams, they also released the ability to more seamlessly integrate our Power Apps Canvas apps inside of Microsoft Teams. So we have Dataverse for Teams and we can natively create Power Apps within the Power Apps application in Teams that way. But what if you have an application that you've already built in the make.powerapps.com portal and you want to integrate that within Teams? We've had the ability to do that for a while, but the process was a little disjointed. We had to click and add the Teams button. That produced a zip file that we then had to download, go into the Teams App Store, upload that, and then add that into our Teams environment. Well, they made this process much more seamless, so now that Add to Teams button will just pop open a window, taking you right to Teams where you can just add that application into Teams seamlessly. And in Power Virtual Agents news, they just added a Power Virtual Agent component for Power Apps portals. So this is going to make it even easier to integrate your Power Virtual Agent chatbots into your Power Apps portals. So we can add a bot from a Dataverse environment, add a bot to all pages or specific pages with this new component. And this is available now in public preview. In Power Automate Desktop News, we have new machine management capabilities. Previously, we had to install the on-prem data gateway to trigger our desktop flows from the cloud. But now, thanks to this new functionality, we don't need that gateway and can connect our desktop machines directly to the cloud. Another big announcement in the Power Apps side of the house is the Modern App Designer. This is Microsoft's push to get a more unified experience for the different ways that we can create Power Apps. The user experience of building a Canvas app versus a model-driven app versus a portal are extremely different right now. So one of the goals in the long term is to make that experience and that creating experience more unified. The first push in this direction is the Modern App Designer for model-driven applications. So as you can see, it's bringing a Canvas app-esque experience to model-driven app development. And again, like most of these awesome announcements, we should be able to start using this in June 2021. And along these same lines, we have custom pages coming in June 2021 as well. This is pretty huge. This gives us the ability to embed our Canvas apps, Power Apps inside of our model-driven apps like we're seeing here. So we have an expense review Canvas application embedded directly within inside of our model-driven apps. This unlocks even more capability for us to build holistic solutions with Power Apps and the Power Platform. So we can bring the power of Canvas applications and their ability to connect to over 400 different data sources, and the low-code PowerFX formula language, and its ability to create pixel-perfect UIs into our model-driven apps. And finally, ending this whirlwind of announcements, we have a brand new Fusion development learning path available on docs.microsoft.com. Just go to aka.ms/learn-fusiondev, and that will take you right to this brand new learning path. So if you are a code-first developer and you're looking to get into Power Platform and you're wondering what is in it for you, or maybe you are a citizen developer, low-code developer, and you want to learn the different ways that you can work with your code-first developers in your organization to create solutions on the Power Platform, this is a great learning path for that. It walks you through what Fusion development is, how different teams like this can work together to create solutions, and even walks you through a specific scenario of how that can happen with Azure API management, integrating a custom connector into a Power App. And that's a wrap. I know this was a pretty long Power Platform Rewind episode, but we just had so many great things to cover between build and invest. I don't know about you, but I can't wait for June 2021 when I can start using some of these amazing new features. And of course, as I get my hands on some of these things, I will definitely do some deep dive videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next month for another Power Platform Rewind.